This is how I dive the main wall at La Jolla Shores. This map calls it the east wall, but most people I know just call it the main wall. I park over in the main parking lot here, get geared up, and walk down this path to Vallecito Street. And you enter the water from here. Just head straight out. It's a 15-minute kick out. You drop down in about 30-ish feet of water, and it's about a 30-second swim to the edge. You drop down on a wall that's maybe 3 to 6 feet, depending on where you hit it. You follow it along, and in the beginning, most of the dive, you're heading west, just kind of deeper out into the ocean until you get to Vallecito's Point. And then you head back in, follow a wall that gets shorter and shorter, and then disappears. Once it disappears, you turn around, retrace your path, and exit the wall at the same place you entered, and a long 15-minute or so swim in, slowly getting shallower and shallower along the sandy bottom. This is the lineup you'll use to tell you how far out to swim. You're going to line this lone palm tree up with the space in between the tip of Scripps Pier and this building, so you're going to line it up right about here. A lot of people will line that palm tree up with the very tip of Scripps Pier, which is fine, but it'll oftentimes drop you right on the edge of the wall. Lining it up a little bit further in gives you some leeway. It drops you in the sand. You have time to get your buoyancy all dialed in before you head to the wall. For my other lineup, I walk over to Vallecito Street and take a look. There's this large street light here. I line that up with this stop sign that has the light pole on top of it. This can be a bit difficult to see when you're out on the water. The stop sign's a bit small. If there's a big vehicle there blocking you, it can be hard to line up. But it doesn't need to be a perfect lineup. You need to get them in the general area and you should be okay. Okay, we entered the water straight out from Vallecito Street. Kicked out for about 15 minutes. Now we're dropping down in about 20, 30 feet of water. It kind of depends on where you hit. Right here at the edge, we're looking at 43 feet. It's really, I think it's a low tide right now, so it could be closer to 50 feet on this edge at this point. We're going to drop down and hang a right. You may not drop in just on this point because those lineups can be difficult to find, so if you're off a little bit, it doesn't matter a whole lot. You'll just hit the wall and hang a right. This is a little bit of a landmark for me. I feel like it's been here for a few years, unless there's been a few different ones, but I always see one out there. It's nice and bright, usually easy to find if the visibility is good. And this is pretty decent visibility that we have right here. So here we're on Vallecito's Point. We're just getting there. You'll get a better look at it in a minute. But if you ascended a bit and went over to the other side, you know, it's like 6, 8, 10 feet across, and you could just jump to the other side of the wall here. Here it is. It's pointing out west right into the ocean. A nice view from above. And then I'm going to turn around and give you a view from the other angle. This is pretty much the number one dive that people do here. Your first dive is probably going to be here, unless maybe you were doing something in the shallow areas to practice your buoyancy, or maybe you got certified in there. But yeah, so this is the point. You can see it just kind of heads straight back. Basically, we're looking east at this point, back towards the shore. A lot of the times, though, this isn't so much of a wall. It'll drop down to a ledge, you know, just 6 inches. So eventually, this wall that we're diving along is dwindled down, and you could turn around at that point, like here. You can't exactly see the wall. Maybe it's confusing. I usually just follow the parchment worms. It kind of looks like little tube worms or little tubes sticking up. for about another minute and a half maybe, and then you'll get back to this where there's a wall. It's an obvious wall to follow again. Continue on this until we get a wall that ends, until the wall ends, and that's when we'll turn around and trace back. So see, this kind of curves around a bit. 17 minutes into the dive. So these time points I'm giving you, I'm not really stopping to look at the life along the wall. If you do, there's a good chance you're not going to make it. This is the end right here. There's a good chance you won't make it to this point. A little tough to see, but it sort of ends. There's sand all around. You'll get a better look of it second when I turn around. Yeah, 20 minutes into the dive. But if you're actually stopping and looking at things like people usually do, or I usually do, then you probably won't make it this far, or you might not make it this far. But yeah, you can see, I mean, this is walls, 2 feet maybe, and then it went down to almost nothing, and that's where I turned around. And then I got lucky here because I saw this guy, nice little octo hanging out. I don't usually find the octopus. I've got a buddy that he finds everything. When I'm with him, this is the kind of stuff I see. We're continuing back around that little turn you saw a minute ago, and now we're back in the area where I said the wall sort of disappears for a bit. So here we are coming up on Viewpoint again, Vallecito's Point, as we head back around. And we're basically just going to follow the wall back to the point that we entered the dive at, and then head up in through the sand. Alright, so we hit the end point. We were heading east along the wall, and as soon as the wall curved away from east, we continued going east, and we swim through the shallows for about 15 minutes until we surface. If you have plenty of gas left at this point, then you can continue following the wall south as far as you like, and then just turn east when you feel like you're ready to head towards shore. Don't forget to look around in the area for sand dollars. There's a lot of flatfish out there, like the halibut and the sand dabs. Sometimes you see crabs and other things, so keep an eye out for other little critters as you're heading in.